Local bird lovers are in a flap because something big has been hatched after 10 years. The Australian Bird Guide is a celebration of our unique bird life by a team of writers and artists, and it's backed by the CSIRO. Let's welcome one of the team now. We've got Dr Rohan Clarke joining us from Melbourne. Hi. Good morning. So you're one of the writers for this project. Did anyone expect it to take this long?
I don't think we thought it was going to quite take this long. We set out with a 5-year plan, but I guess, given the focus on it being comprehensive, we took a little bit longer, but I think it's worth it.
900 birds.
Yeah.
Is 900 birds all up? Is that right?
Yeah. So how did you get this hobby? It started as a hobby and went into, your life's work.
Yeah, so I remember buying my first binoculars when I was 12 years old, so still in primary school. So it's been something that's been with me for a very long time. And I think that's true of most of the team members on this book.
And there are, correct me if I'm wrong, there are 4,000 illustrations in this book that have all been individually painted. Was it hard to get the birds to stand still for that long?
Yeah, it's a massive undertaking from the artists. There are a couple of artists that were on it for a full-time task over 8 years, almost painting day and night to get these things done.
They're just beautiful. Why the paintings and not the photographs?
Yeah, good question. It's something that I think is really important for field guides. So, especially in a digital age where there are so many photos out there, the assumption might be that you would actually target the photos, but the images allow you to really highlight the key identification features and at the same time, reduce or knock down the features that are not that important. So, a broken feather here or a mark on the beak, you can remove that.
Absolutely beautiful. They are beautiful
Art is more accurate than life.
And the detail's incredible. Now, tell us about, is it true the night parrot is the rarest bird we have in Australia? Because that's the one I'm interested in.
Yeah, so there's a remarkable story around the night parrot. I mean, the night parrot's kind of the thylacine or the Tasmanian tiger of the bird world, in that there are a few specimens collected in the Victorian era, and then they'd largely just disappeared. They were just gone. And then a dead one turned up in the 1990s, so it kind of proved they were still around. And somebody's gone looking for them and put in a huge effort, and about 5 years ago they rediscovered them. So we now know there's a live population, and we've learnt so much about those birds in the last 5 years just from that new discovery.
Wow, which is in stark contrast, obviously, to the day parrot, which is very easy to spot.
Absolutely.
Now, Rohan, you're an ecologist at Monash University. Are we losing more bird species to extinction still?
Yeah, it's interesting. We've got a lot more species that are threatened, that are declining and in real trouble, but the last official extinction was way back in the 1920s. So the paradise parrot was the last thing we've definitely lost. Although there is another bird missing from Norfolk Island. It just hasn't been missing long enough yet to be sure that it's really gone.
Now, my husband and I were overseas recently and something very odd happened. He turned into a twitcher. He did. I didn't expect it. Why are serious bird watchers called twitchers? And do you twitch or do you prefer tweet? This is very important to my marriage.
It's probably very important to lots of bird watchers' marriages, I suspect. The twitching term comes from the UK. Sometime in the 1950s, there was a very prominent birder that actually got so excited about a new rare bird that he would physically twitch, and so that's how it's come about and how it's stuck.
Yeah. Just finally, Ron. I mean, I love birds and I love the sound of them in the backyard. They're gorgeous. So how can we, in our everyday lives, encourage them? Should we be building bird houses or putting bird baths in our garden? Should we be planting more native plants in our front yards? What should we be doing?
Yeah, I think for urban areas, the best thing you could do is plant native plants and provide some water. They're sort of the two key things that most of our native birds would really benefit from in those sorts of areas.
All right, well, the Australian Bird Guide is out now and it's published by the CSIRO for all you twitchers out there. Rohan Clarke, thanks so much for joining us.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.